News is leaking from the MAGA White House, as you would imagine. And as we predicted, Elon Musk is an absolute emotional basket case. Put up the first tweet. Elon Musk apparently bursts into tears with surprising frequency. When he's in a bad mood, he goes really dark. And so it has been leaked that there were audible tears and a complete hysterical meltdown. I'm talking titty baby city because of his Tesla stock. He's crying his eyes out. So that's when Trump decided to do the infomercial and expand his online flea market to a car dealership on the White House lawn. And if you notice from some of the footage, and I know it's just so repulsive to watch. Trump's like, he's so IQ and he's patting his shoulders, really trying to build him up. And it's interesting, there's all of these alpha males that try to stereotype women as being hysterical, not emotionally strong enough to lead. And look at this. I mean, this is just the most ridiculous display of hysterical emotions that are oftentimes attached to women. But in MAGA, it is all the men, and it is titty baby city. But I want to say this bullying, these meltdowns, this stuff is working, and London is leading the charge. They're putting these up all over the city of London. Kylie put this up. So all over bus stations, it says X marks the rot, and it has the image of Elon Musk doing the Nazi salute. And in America, we seem to have just kind of forgotten about the Nazi salute. Legacy media goes on as though it never happened. Trump has the audacity to stand on the grounds of the White House and say, he's such a good patriot. We have to cherish him. And nobody acknowledges that he did two, not one, but two, to make sure everybody knew exactly what he was doing. 2 Sig Heils. So thank you, London and America. Take notice. Keep bullying this guy because it is working, because he is a very small man and an absolute crackhead emotional basket case. Also, in his spare time, when he's not melting down crying to Trump, reports have come out from Politico. Kylie, please pop this up. Upon Musk's request, Young, who is one of his aides, procured a massive TV from Musk's office in the Eisenhower Executive Building so he could play video games, according to a person familiar with the situation, granted anonymity to speak freely. So you hear that, MAGA? While you're paying, 300% higher for eggs, Elon Musk is playing video games and having a meltdown and doing Nazi salutes, and Donald Trump is having an infomercial for him on the White House lawn. This is white trash, riffraff, knick-knack, corruption at the highest form. And these aren't even smart things. These are just stupid people doing stupid things in the United States of America. And here's one of my biggest pet peeves. A lot of Americans assume when somebody is wealthy that they are smart. And they say, well, he's so wealthy, he must be smart. He must be a genius. And you hear this all the time about Elon Musk, but not on AOC's watch. Kylie put this up. AOC, Elon Musk is not a scientist. He is not an engineer. He is a billionaire con man. And that sums it up perfectly. And that is the connective tissue that connects Trump and Musk. They're both billionaire con men. The reason why Elon Musk wanted to go rape and pillage every government agency is because they were investigating him. Many of his companies were found to have very racist work environments, very sexist work environments. He was completely under investigation. I also think there's a Freudian way that he wants to dismantle the American government because he knows he's an imposter. He knows without those government subsidies, he would never have been this successful. And so he wants to destroy the whole thing down. It's kind of like Candace Owens kissing ass to MAGA. It's a very similar psychological thing, in my opinion. And speaking of con men, Donald Trump has expanded the MAGA flea market merch. Now we have the MAGA cowboy boots, the signature gold tee. These are gold cowboy boots, boldly set against the American flag, makes a striking statement of patriotism. I mean, are you kidding me? The president of the United States of America is selling MAGA gold boots at his flea market. It's just unbelievable to me that people think that this man is so pro-America. All he's ever done is bash the troops. Every time he's on TV, all he does is talk about what a piece of shit America is. He never says anything favorable about it. Ever. He's against equality. He's against liberty. He's dismantled the Department of Justice. All he does, he wants to sue CBS because he's upset about a Kamala Harris interview. This man is a deranged infant, and he sells all of this white trash riffraff on his website, and these cult followers lap it up and buy it. And here's a big story that if Barack Obama were president or Kamala Harris were president or any Democrat, and they had a Christian advisor on their team that then turned out to be a pedophile, it would be incredibly problematic. And here we have Robert Morris, Texas megachurch pastor and former Trump advisor, indicted for child sex crimes. Morris is a former spiritual advisor to President Donald Trump and Gateway, one of the nation's largest megachurches, has been particularly active in the Dallas area GOP politics. And Alex Cole tweets, the same people banning books and drag shows to protect kids are the ones hurting them every single time. And this is so true. Every single time, it's always some megachurch pastor or some priest that is sexually abusing children. And the article appears and it's up there for a day or two, maybe 10 hours, and then it disappears. But this constant, nonstop talk about trans people and drag queens is insane. Show me the evidence where kids have gone to drag shows and been harmed. And there's also, as parents, you have agency. You have agency to not send your kid to a drag show. I have agency as a parent, and I've never sent my child to a mega church for multiple reasons, and this is just one of them. Moving along, we have more dipshit MAGA Christians, and this is Tommy Tuberville. And here's what he has to say about MAGA's plan for education.
And understand is every state has their own Department of Education. It's not like we're not going to have a Department of Education, but every state, you know, I'm from the South. We have a different way of life in terms of education. We educate our kids in different curriculums. Everybody should do their own thing, but we can't regulate ourselves out of business. We don't need dictatorship from Washington, D.C. to people in Georgia or South Carolina or Montana or California. Let us teach our kids the way that we want to teach them. Let the parents be involved. Get all this bureaucracy out of the way.
Okay, he wants to teach exactly the way this pastor before wants to teach in schools: Christian nationalism and exploitation of children, the subjugation of women, the whitewashing of Black history, not room for anybody except for the patriarchy. And let me just tell you this, viewer and listener, go look at the worst states for education in the country. And they are one that I live in, Oklahoma, and our governor says this same kind of stuff. And he acts like it does all of this gaslighting stuff. We have our own way. We support family. And it's like, well, no shit, dipshit. Everybody supports family. You're not unique. That's not something you have to brag about. And so the South, they want to make all of these schools Christian nationalist schools. Yet at the same time, they can criticize countries like North Korea because they're against freedom. But all the while, they want the exact same type of nationalism and fascist government. But somebody's reemerging, and somebody that I really think is a very important voice on the national stage, and it is Governor Tim Walz. And here's what a real man, a real patriot, a real rational person that makes sense, that's educated, that isn't trying to gaslight the public, has to say about education.
Last person to give advice because we didn't get it done. But I just felt like Donald Trump floods the zone with this. And I think, Chris, if you'd go ask the average American, what does the Department of Education do? they might not have a clear vision of it. So when Trump says it's a bunch of bureaucrats interfering with your local schools, give local control, we'll give you the money, it sounds pretty good. And we have not provided what that alternative looks like.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think it's fair. And look, I do agree. And I think there's a place for this, the disruptors, the folks that shake up systems in a way that are positive for people. But I keep saying this. What is the goal at the end of the day? What is the goal and where is it backed up? There's not a single economist backs tariffs. There's no one there. You know, Linda McMahon, I bet she's never been in a public school. What is she going to do to improve our students' outcomes and lives? And there's a vacuum for us to fill. We should get out there and fill it. Talk about what we're going to do.
He's exactly right. They are going to say, this is what cult leaders do. They make you not trust the places that hold the cult leader accountable. And so that's why Trump is always talking about the deep state. He makes people question investigations. He makes you question the Justice Department. He makes you question democracy. He makes you question elections. All of these things are put in place so that we have an earnest attempt at transparency and guardrails. The cult leader, Donald Trump, wants all of these removed, and all of his sycophants roll out and say the same crap. And let me tell you what goes on in states that are ranked 49th and 50th in public education. We have a school superintendent who has mandated that they put the 10 Commandments on all the walls. And this is his attempt to go from 49, I guess, to 48. He bought Trump Bibles to be issued in American public schools. These parents are wound up like cheap clocks watching Fox News all the time, and they're convinced that there's some big drag queen coup going on at all of the public schools in the United States of America, trying to indoctrinate children. What this is classic projection. The people who want to indoctrinate children are the megachurch pastors and these Christian nationalists, because they want them in the cult. They don't want critical thinking. When people have the power and people acknowledge their agency in their power, fascist systems and autocrats fall. And this is all a ruse. And Governor Walz asked a very important question. What is all of this for? All of this dismantling, what is it for? And it is to make the electorate dumb and take away power from the people so it can be consolidated at the top to two crackheads that are beholden to Vladimir Putin. One is the titty baby Elon Musk, who pitched a toddler-like meltdown because his Tesla stock is crashing. So Donald Trump then decided to have an infomercial for him. And then these two people go to the bargaining table with a man who should have no leverage. Russia should have zero leverage. And I want to remind everybody, all that has to be done for this war to end is for Vladimir Putin to end it. That's it. That would end it. But we are beholden somehow, some way to Vladimir Putin, and we have two crackheads at the helm. And, you know, this is at the crux of what's going on right now. So here's my advice to everybody. What can we do? Number one, keep bullying Elon Musk. Keep labeling these cars as swastikars. Keep bullying the shit out of Donald Trump. And remember this, Trump likes controversy, but he hates being humiliated. That strikes to the core of his malignant narcissism. So keep up the good work online. Hopefully the spring comes out and we're all out in the streets. But a part of me thinks that's what he wants, because he wants martial law. But stay engaged in platforms like ours, and please subscribe, and I'll see you all later.